Oh wow. Okay. Apparently it's already streaming. Good to know. I didn't realize it would just stop streaming or start streaming right away. That's okay. This is the first look at a weird glitch that we have in the track where we are getting our mouse cursor here. And the track here kind of pops up in a V. If there's a sharp V, incline, decline. We hit it from the sides. For some reason, it will launch us off into space as though we're still on that incline and like it goes forever. It's a really weird glitch, and we're going to capture all of it here, but it does take some time to get to. We're only about halfway there. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead for some library. Yeah, it's something to go over this. Yeah, just but it's smoker, so you got to have that fan of puff the ganj, as the kids used to say. They say now, fucking retarded. Whatever. Different day. Fingerboard out. C-bots. Mini million. These guys were called. I forget what they're called now. They're all worshiping gnome. Or learning from the gnome, maybe. Maybe it's like that. Okay. It's like an Aristotle situation. They're all become super fucking enlightened and whatnot. You know, I don't know. I'm not a toaster or toy scientist. I just have some very limited fingerboarding skills. Oh shit. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt the class. Yeah. So, the dome is coming along pretty good overall, I'd say. We are seeing improvement each time I try to go about fixing something. Right now we're on autopilot. Seeing the crashing in the walls and stuff. That's because it's the autopilot. I was looking for those pads to refill its booster. Doesn't really need it right now, so it's not doing too much to crash back and forth. That's what's happening. Let's see here. Thank you. Switch it back. Do that. We'll get into there with that go. Look for the other side of the computer, I guess. Here. Okay. Hey. Gonna roll a joint. Gonna smoke it. We're gonna roll a joint. We're gonna smoke it. Me talking makes no sense to me because I got headphones on. Listening to some things in the background there, but it's on my computer. So you guys can't hear those references. Oh, yeah. Here. Get some new. Somewhere in here. That's the extra papers. Extra tips. Just the tips. Extra tips. So many pre-roll tips. So many pre-roll tips. Is that a rap song? Okay, 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 okay. Let's try this music. Okay. All right. There we go. What the fuck? Why are all these sad? right, we're at chunk 259. We're getting there. We're looking for chunk 311. 311 is the chunk that matters. You guys can help me decide. Oh my God. Yeah, ask where to save things. I really do not love this. Oh, I'll just go wherever I want. All right. All right, that background tune is just a little bit slow and sad for me. So let's try this one out. This looks like something you could race at 470 miles an hour too. I mean, doesn't it? I feel like it does. All right. Bring those background tunes down a little bit. Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, I probably already have stuff there, so. All right. Let's see here. All right. Hold that for a minute. Oh, God. Okay. See all this stuff on the internet right now, but are we going into a civil war? Was America gonna do a civil war? Dude, America has been in a civil war. Like, we've already been there. That's what we're doing. It's just asymmetrical, doesn't have any sides, and the fucking battleground is in the brain. It's a whole new era, man. Fahrenheit 11.9. Michael Moore. What a word we used to say in the 90s. It gets your shit flagged now. That's what I'm gonna start calling it. The word we used to call people in the 90s that gets your shit flagged now. I will say though, one problem I have nowadays with going on YouTube and looking for something to watch is so much of it is AI. And I don't mind AI when it comes to graphics and visuals. Honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. As a as a content creator myself and somebody who's struggled to learn editing software and things like that. You know, it's a learning curve that can uh, inhibit your ability to get the message that you're trying to get out. So I understand using it for that. But when you're using AI video or AI audio, like to create voices and stuff like that, that is annoying as fuck. Holy shit, we missed our spot. Means we gotta turn around. Boy, this is it. And now we're doing a double test. Forgive me here. I didn't realize we were past chunk 311. I was looking at some other stuff. I don't know, maybe you guys saw it. Did we have a weird floating thing where we just flew in the air all crazy shit like and landed at 321? 326, something like that. I don't know. Can't tell if we're seeing pop in or pop out. Pop out. Yeah. And there's work to be done. Yeah, 320 minutes. So I think what's happening here is the props are disappearing because the props are not being loaded and rendered the same way that the track and the landscape are. So I think they're still counting forward, so the ones behind it disappear. And so we're going backwards, as you can see. And cruising backwards like this means that the props are probably loaded in front of us. Which is not ideal. Back here, 312. We should be coming on an incline soon. Oh, there we are. Sorry, 311 incline. You demon bastard. Cruise it back a little bit. Catch the speed. Alright, now we'll see what happens. Over the side. Bam! Yep. Does this weird thing. And it'll take us all the way back to 312. Or 321. Which is super annoying. Not correct. That's not what it's supposed to do. We want to see what it's supposed to do. We gotta go through the center line. Bloop, bloop. And that's what it's supposed to look like. But unfortunately, that is not what it's looking like. So we drove a little past 326. Stone sidetracked. Backwards. 310. And 311. Sidewall. Goes to incline bridge. Here is the profiler. Info at 11. Take a look at room 311 for.text for and we will fill that screen for a minute. I'm just going to go down some kind of what we're doing here. So this is the general process, right? Give it behavior, tell it what it's doing, what we did, and then we have already defined pretty extensive debugging and profiling system to kind of keep track of what's happening when and where. And so I screen capture that. Excuse me. And can't have somebody talking in the background. So we have this profiler information, and we can copy and paste that quickly into this chat window and kind of give it a rundown. We already have it running to a general folder or a file for a terminal output to make it easier for the AI to grep through the terminal output and kind of see what errors and things we miss. So let's send it. Let's see what it says. See, 11 Labs, this is why I stopped using you for voice, because your filtration system is bullshit. I'm up here trying to generate some tracks for this game. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's certain things that AI is useful for to kind of beat the learning curve. I don't know anything about making fucking excuse me. I don't know anything about making music or electronic music, but this AI does. So what the fuck? Why wouldn't I let it jam out a little bit? It might give it a try, you know. Can do that in the background while this is running. Jump 311. Yeah, there we go. There we go. See, it's found something in the code and in the what do you call it? In the log. It says could be causing Argos glitch, so I'll trace where that's coming from, and hopefully, if all goes well, not too long from now, we'll have a fucking fixed glitch. Now, biggest trouble that I have right now with testing is that I have a system to warp you ahead a certain amount of chunks. It's broken. Well, I shouldn't say it's broken, but it has some bugs that I need to iron out. And it's hard to know. It's hard to use that. Well, I'll show you. I'll just show you once we're finished with this here. We'll try and warp to 300 and see what happens. But we do end up with some strange landscape and prop anomalies. And because of that, I don't always trust the output that comes from when we warp ahead to know whether or not the glitches we're seeing are caused by actual game engine issues or the warp itself, or if the glitch that we're currently dealing with has to do with accumulated problem. You know, like some data accumulation after so many miles either causes inaccuracies or just whatever breaks for whatever reason. So if the problems that we're having are cumulative, Warping ahead doesn't help us test that or check that. If the issues that we're having are occurring when we drive from chunk 0 to chunk 300 or whatever, then we know that it's within the game itself. It's an issue of either of accumulation or just a glitch in the engine itself. So that's why I don't like to use the warp as a means to test, but excuse me. Dude, okay. GPT-2, you've been doing this to me a little bit lately, and it kind of pisses me off. Because you already did that, and you know. So, let's see here. Actually making the changes, or are you just gonna have me run again? Okay. Submitted instead of streaming logic. Put massive seam gap. Should be produced in first way. So, code princess warning. Transfer the chunk point coordinates or transform chunks that yeah, why would you have me do it also? Start okay. So okay. So here. Let's try this one. Okay, we've been looking for track collision for 20 responses now. Some other ones been produced. I think we can safely abandon this geometry. It's clearly something else as models never show up. The glitch does every time. You can add new debugging. Seam break safety. Let's start exploring this issue also unrelated to track. Collision goes to trigger it never happens. Bam, fucking send it. Let's see if our background should just stop playing. Yeah, it's not on loop. Okay, that's fine. It was really more of a test anyway. Let's come back up here and check out our new song.
Distant whispers.
Gets caught up in this progressive loop where it really wants to fucking get the track in front of us. Even though they're not showing up on the this is probably
Push
not
further.
Let's get the track collision.
All the course and case. 1,000 bending days. Living alone, breathing for an amazing place. Living alone, breathing
Open source music generator. Any good open source music gen AI we can run locally. 11 this is a fucking scam. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, now it's going to stop treating the logs as the gate for progress, and it's going to start tackling this 20 or 6 kilometer gap, which is about 12 chunks, which corresponds with 311 to like 321, 322 chunk, which is what happens when we go over that incline at 311 and we fly up into the distance. We fly up until about 315-ish, 316, and then we start drifting down and we land at the next incline at 321. So this is most likely, this gap between is probably our kilometer, this multi-kilometer discontinuity. So now I got looking for that. Check the track collision. Here's it's going to say invisible ramp. So 6 kilometer seam. Also add a lightweight seam debug. Triggers near physics 331 collision sampling near such a seam. So the next run gives a signal without relying on track collision. Yeah, because it is not necessary. That's all. Stop chasing track collision. Follow the seam evidence. Okay. Now change to track C. Seam break safety. And then new seam debug log that'll actually show up. Seam log triggers track collision negates. Next time you run, you can just grab it. What we need to do is rebuild and then rerun. Okay, like it. So let's go over here where the magic happens. Going to free roam. Turn on the profiler. We'll blaze past a little bit of traffic just so you guys can see the traffic element. Crash. But as you can imagine, trying to get to chunk 300 while also dodging and leaving traffic while is part of the game. That is actually a part of the game. The traffic doesn't seem to be interrupting or causing us any issues right now, aside from just being in my way. And during the production of the traffic you're seeing right now, got to this point and then realized that this was no way to run a online racing world. The traffic needed to be consistent and coherent across players. So we moved out of this system here and moved into a server-based system that runs and maintains and keeps track of all the traffic, as well as players, so we can have kind of a source of truth be built into that traffic system. So if somebody's going 470 miles an hour, we can predict where they'll be basically at top speed at any given time. Which means if anybody is grossly outside of that, they must be cheating. We can nip that in the bud. None of that's implemented yet, but the traffic system is, but the anti-cheat stuff's not built yet. But anyway, because of that, this traffic will grow exponentially as we travel down the road and become really unmanageable. So to avoid issues with that while driving fucking 150 miles, we're just going to go ahead and turn the traffic off. And I'm going to let this cruise for a minute. I have to make a little run to the restroom. Not that anybody cares or is watching, but just in case. That's where the silence would come in. Because silence is no fun. Let's go ahead and turn this back on. At least that way there's something happening in the background here. Chunk 77. We're making progress. Slowly but surely. Feed some cats, folks. Keep on watching the cruise. Maybe it is more interesting to watch with the traffic on. Doesn't matter because by this time the traffic's dead. You know. Mm-hmm. All right, back in action here. Ready to rock and roll. We're at one chunk 169. Okay. That means it's coming right along here. Very nice. Very nice. I'm going to go take that off because I don't need it right now. Don't need the tins. Ah. All right. Board. Started doing this again to build dexterity in my hands, because what they don't tell you when you get older is shit just stops working for no fucking good reason, no explanation, no incident required. You just wake up one day and your shit don't work as well as it used to. To be fair, I'm glad it's my hands, not my dick, but either way, it's a reality. Fingerboarding, in my estimation, requires a high level of hand dexterity. So that's what we're trying to do. And kickflip was like a signature move for myself, but lately I haven't been able to fucking land them properly. Gotta like go back to the ollie. It's like a full hand and finger movement, you know? Oh my god, I love this cat we have, but holy shit, is he annoying. He is an annoying little son of a bitch. You guys probably can't hear him, but I just fed him. I gave him breakfast. He has it. Now he wants to know where the other cat is. The other cat is in another office eating her breakfast because he will not stop fucking trying to eat her breakfast. He's just an annoying little prick. I love him. You know? He's our annoying little prick. You guys know how that is, right? You know that fucking pets and shit. Yeah, these guys are like, we're just trying to enjoy class, dude. Why do you keep fucking up? Well, trying to jump over the instructor? What's wrong with you? But yeah, that's what we had to do. We had to increase the stakes. Make the stakes higher. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's how it's done. Shit. 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 Good board. Alright, we are coming up to my favorite part of the drive, though. At least for right now. This section here. Oh no, wait, maybe we already missed it. Yeah, we missed it. It was at 192. Oh well. We're perusing. Perusing. Ooh, shit. Just a zoom in. And I do like our low poly trees, but I don't know if those are going to stick around forever, or what we're going to do about the props situation, something like buildings and whatnot. A lot of this, my goal is a lot of procedural generation, because I'm just one guy, and there's 2,500 miles roughly up track, or 2,250. I don't know. It's a long fucking drive from New York City to Los Angeles. So the idea of going in and hand placing every prop on the map seems ridiculous, you know. So we built the system to track biome types, and then based on the biome add specific foliage and whatnot. And it seems to work pretty decently. Not It's not at 100% right now, but that's fine. The goal isn't to make the aesthetics 100% right now. The goal is to get the game running and working. In order to test frame rates and loading in and loading out correctly, radii of interest, we just have to have some props, you know what I mean? We just have to have something present. So I imagine the final release is going to look a little bit different than what you see here. But this is good enough right now to keep things trucking along. You know, like these forested areas, I definitely want to see more forest than terrain. We should have fucking thousands of trees along the side of the road here. And eventually I will. We'll do that. We'll kick up the numbers, the density, make it a little bit more unique for spaces. There's a lot of low poly assets on the Unreal Engine marketplace. They call it Fab now. I think it's one letter off. It's a terrible new system. I prefer the old marketplace. But whatevs, you know, epic gonna epic. So, whatever. Either way, there's a lot of options out there to add variety. AI's come a long way in 3D modeling generations, generating models and things like that. Oh, it's weird. Okay. So, in the long run, these props will likely change. But for right now, they're getting the job done. And they're allowing us to test for, you know, pop-in and rendering issues. It's important to know that this entire project is written from scratch, essentially. There's a couple of standard libraries written or that we're using, like OpenGL and whatnot, but for the most part, this is independently developed game engine, and it's developed by somebody who doesn't know anything about developing game engines. Well, I should say didn't know. I have been learning quite a bit recently in the process, you know, in this project, which is understandable. There's a lot going on. It's I don't know, it should be a daunting task, but this is one of the things I've been saying about side coding for a while now is one of the benefits of not knowing what you can't do is that there really isn't anything you can't do. Like, I can coerce the AI into just about anything at this point. It can build anything that I want it to build. And all these people on the internet saying, oh, you can't do that, you don't know anything about that, you can't do that, you don't know anything about that. Well, like, you know, I fucking don't need to. All I need to know is the behavior I expect, the behavior I observe. Then I articulate that back into the system and let it do its thing. Now, the downside is, like I said, I'm at a point where testing requires a pretty decent time frame. Like, I think we're an hour in now, and we're only at chunk 264, so we still have to get to chunk 311. Obviously, this is our second test in the stream, so it takes about a half an hour, I guess, 45 minutes to get to where we want to go to test, you know, whether or not what we've done is fixed it. And after we've done this, I'll show you the warp system and some of the anomalies we get with that. things like that are weird. It's because the water is on a normal, doesn't bend to the will of the road. The terrain does. So when we dipped down there, the terrain dipped down, but the water still managed to pass over over the track. The track dips down into the water. It doesn't bother me. That'll probably be there as long as that data is there. So like, I'll inevitably be rebuilding this track several times before the game releases, over a period of time. But if that kind of glitching happens where like the water comes over the track for a brief second, yeah, it doesn't bother me one bit. That's not something I'm going to track down. Like, I know what causes that. It's not that big a deal. Gives a little bit of variety to the track. I kind of like it. You know. Yeah, it seems like that, where I generated the first 280 chunks or so, and then we had a glitch, so we went from the chunk like 280 to 320 or something like that. Causes those little schisms. That'll get ironed out as well. So yeah, the downside is these kinds of track anomalies, it takes a long time to get to them and find them. The idea is to iron out what causes them to hopefully keep them from manifesting later on down the road. So now, after this fix, hopefully we'll see some pop-up, right? That's a cumulative issue, by the way. That's what I was talking about earlier. All these pop-up like 1 or 2 chunks behind or in front of us. Now, let's see here, we're in chunk 292. But yeah, these kinds of things, they take a long time to track down. So like, for instance, yeah, those city blocks just popping up over there, that's caused by accumulation issues. Somewhere our window to load and render props is having some kind of issue over time. So we didn't see any of this pop up manifesting until about chunk 290, which means for 290 chunks of the track, our props are loading and rendering, properly. But come chunk 290, there has been enough accumulation of that process that the chunks are now rendering super late. And now by chunk 302, the props are rendering in the chunk basically as we're driving through it. So after we solve the problem we're currently working on, we'll get back to that. That's probably a pretty easy solve. We just need to set it up so that the props and the cities and everything are being loaded and rendered exactly the same way as the track and the landscape. My guess is these are 2 separate processes, so the track and the landscape are loading properly, but the props are not. Okay, and now we're in the zone. Let's pause real quick, open this up, we gotta bring it up here. That there, and zoom. That's chunk 310, 311 pre-crash, and we're still getting that fucking lift. Ugh, motherfucker, ugh. Still getting ghost incline track. Fuck. So, as you can see here, we're not quite over the track. Track doesn't, the game engine doesn't quite know where we are. That weird shift we just saw, now we're going to start going down, but it's a slow roll at that decline. Look at our very slight decline. It's having trouble keeping us tracked to the center line because we're so out of whack. But the chunks are loading normally. Right? We're in chunk 316, 317. That's accurate. We're right where we should be. Let's see if we can get a power up on this side. Yep. So it thinks that we're down there. But it also realizes that we're not. And we know that because we're able to go over top of our refill pads and get a refill. See how now suddenly at 320 and 321, I gave you profiler for 310, 311, 320, and 321, 320, chunk 320, we start ascending. In chunk 321, we catch the tail end of a incline decline. And let's go ahead and spin around here and see if that's the same kind of decline incline. No, so see, this is a long incline decline. So this raises up and then drops down. See that? So it's like it found. I bet if we drive all the way back to 311 here, we're going to find that there are no other incline declines between 311 and 321. That's my guess. That's my hypothesis. Okay. So that one's, we do have an incline decline, but it's less dramatic. It's not as sharp. Let's come up here and look at this. Same thing at 314. It's a much more gradual incline. We'll get to 311, turning that up. See, this appears to be a pretty gradual incline also. So, I have one of two theories here. To be fair, we need to solve this problem in general, so we're just going to keep on the track that we are. But it seems like if I put a rule into the track generation system to make sure that any incline has more than one wall space, so I have this come out to 2, from an incline before the decline. Let's see here, it starts declining after this first wall. We get up here, goes flat, and then immediately starts its decline. It is a gradual decline here, but it is already starting to do its decline. And you can even see that better probably from over here. Yeah, it's really pronounced on the outside, you can see. Because no matter what speed we go, if we're on the side of this thing, we get launched into the outer spaces. If we go in the middle of the track, we pop right over, no problem. Somewhere, and it's weird because it doesn't work on the reverse. It's only one way. And it doesn't matter whether we're going slow or if we're going fast. Doesn't make any difference. We go to that sidewall in this incline and we end up in fucking outer space. Now, I thought I solved this issue before by rebuilding the track. That weird zigzag that we saw back at 280, that's what that was. Because I rebuilt this section of track thinking maybe it was an error and the track was built. But it's clearly not, because we've rebuilt it. So it's not corrupted data. When we look at this in our track editor, we don't see any anomalies, so we know that it's not does not appear to be an issue in the way that the track is built. There's just something going on in this section in the maths and sciences. So go back up to the old AI windsurf. I like windsurf. You use what you like. This is what I side code with. We give it all this track data again. And then let's go ahead and track that. Why would it do? That's fucking stupid. Great. So the pattern we're looking for doesn't exist in those records. So here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to give this Gemini or GPT 5.2 one more chance because I like to give it a chance. I didn't see anything wrapped from Brain 311 cfx1.txt for scene, but you should look through that closer. Give me a report if you find a bug. Please give me a step-by-step plan for fixing it. Do not make code changes. Just show me the plan. The plan should include code table with code we need to change, code we will replace it with, and pseudocode or anything new we need to generate. I'll review, then we'll move forward. So this is a context refresh technique that I use to help keep it away from that myopic behavior. We're going to run this one more time, and I'm going to warp to save time. And if we still get this track anomaly at 311, which I'm not sure that we will, but I'm confident we will, we're going to switch it up and we're going to go to a higher cost model. So we'll give the Claude Opus fucking everybody's sucking their own dicks on Claude bots and shit. We're going to try the heavy model at the 5 times fucking cost, because right now GPT-2 5.2 low reasoning, while it's been a very successful model in ironing out a lot of other issues, then this particular problem is just not cutting it. So we'll also start a new task, chat, excuse me. That's another form of context refresh. So we'll start a new chat. I'll tell it, hey, review the code. Let me know how the game engine loads track data, basically. And we'll then, after it understands the code, I'll tell it the behavior we're getting and have it research the code again, thinking about that track data or track anomalies that we're getting, the glitch. And then again, I'll ask it to give me a plan. We'll go with the plan. So start here and see what happens. See how it goes up and it spins like that? That's what we're trying to avoid. We don't want it doing this. We want it to go, man. It's a little bit too out of control, you know? go. That was a pretty decent one. Flip, flip, flop. Floppity flop. Flip, flip, flop. Floppity flip. Well, I gotta be honest, I have been asking myself as I'm toiling with, excuse me, these kinds of issues here. What's the point? Right? Which is a fair question. Like, why do all this? Is it just for fun? Is this going to become a business? Dude, I don't know, you know? I started getting into side deving or side coding game design because I saw the potential of ChatGPT in forming coding tasks and writing code, and there were always like these little ideas I would have, like, oh, it'd be interesting to be able to pull the transcript off this YouTube video and condense it into a summary. So I was like, hey, ChatGPT, can we write a script to do this? And ChatGPT was like, sure, here you go. One shot wonder. You know, and it worked. And I had to have another idea, like, oh, I wonder if we can, I don't know, make a self-aware artificial sentience, you know, and ChatGPT was like, sure, how do you want to do that? And I was like, well, let's have a Python-based chat bot, and we'll have it assess the user's prompts before sending the prompt off to ChatGPT through the API for what the user's intent is, and then based on that intent, we can give the agent, you know, different tools and properties that it can operate on. And I kind of built this whole thing called Bernard, where you can, I mean, I don't want to brag or anything, but Bernard had web searching capabilities before ChatGPT.com did. I can prove that. I got the GitHub repo updates. Now, was it as good as ChatGPT's when it finally did hit the market? Like, no, of course not. I hacked that together similar to like I'm doing this. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, you know? I'm just winging it. But I had it writing its own code and recursive loops, editing, testing, fixing bugs and errors before Claude Code was even a fucking dream in anybody's mind. Similarly to the search function, it's not as good. I'm not claiming that I was at that same level of quality, but functionality, I had it making its own simple games. I could say, hey Bernard, can you make me a sweet Pong game in Python that I can play? I'd like it to count score and, or not Pong, Brick Breaker, like Brick Breaker style game, and it would one-shot that. I would send it or it wouldn't one-shot it, but like for me it would one-shot. I'd send it that, and it would run the code. When it would get an error, it was able to do targeted edits onto the where the code error is. It's pretty fantastic. And again, not the same level as Claude or any of these other bots, but running on the lowest tier or lowest cost models for API calls, it was still crushing it. It's killing it. So once I started doing things like that, I realized I bet I could ask this AI to do anything, and because it's so agreeable, it'll at least try, you know. And I'd say a good 9 out of 10 projects that I've started, I've been able to finish by side coding, by saying, you know, this is what it's doing, this is what we expect, look at the code, let's go from there. So anyway, now here we are. I don't know, 2 years later, I guess, 3 years later, something like that. I don't know. And we are side coding an entire three-dimensional race car game where we could travel from New York to LA, real life distance, and that's pretty damn cool. So let's kind of just briefly read through this plan. I always kind of assess what it says because A, if it says at the very top here, we're going to fix why we're not getting any seam logs. Well, I don't give a shit about that. What I want is the problem solved. I don't care if seam log doesn't show up. Seam log doesn't show up, again, like track collision tells me we're probably not working with the seam issue. Let's keep it on, keep it on. Seam log only prints that shows the closest index immediately adjacent to seam break. So yeah, that's fine. We'll probably want to change that. Great, we'll do that. Yeah, my love.
Haven't finished all of it.
All right, taking care of the animals again there. Apologize for the brief interruption. It's so funny because it's like nobody's watching this. I could say the N word right now and it wouldn't matter for like another 20 years. When I'm rich and famous, people be like, oh yeah, you said the N word that one time on that stream that nobody's listening to. We've all logged and listened to now. Since something else controversial. I see the future. I see it. I see it. Just kidding. Well, I wouldn't actually say that, but nobody's watching. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's get back into it. Seam break ended up in adjacent pair. Rear collisions with vehicles closest to it never lands right on that discontinuity, so seam gap exists in the track with the collisions however made. When choosing points that are not seam adjacent, so the seam doesn't fire. Blah blah blah. Part of evidence the real failure, a huge snap error. Again around the chunk 32021. Shows many lines like snap large, delta, hover. Yeah. Well yeah, that's because we're fucking flying over the damn track. In snap code, vertical distance equals the dot's position closest center, up N. Here V distance strongly negative, vertical distance, which means the vehicle is 5 to 7 meters below the chosen track plane along the track normal, which is weird because we're actually witnessing it being above the track. But either way, it thinks I'm under the track, so it keeps pushing us up. Even though the per frame allocation is clamped, underlying error is persistently huge. Concrete signal we're having, ghost inclines, very likely the vehicle being continually corrected towards the wrong reference plane. So why it happens is safely. Yeah, it only prevents using neighbor points across large gaps and forming local bases. Yeah. What's up, sweet pea? Okay. This cat, I swear. But your symptom appears driven by which closest index is being selected and the resulting vertical distance snap. So even with a good basis, the solver selects the point. If it's plane is far above the load, View, wrong surface. Snap will create the ghost surface. Seam warnings are still extremely suspicious. Let's run. Some huge seam stitch continuities. Prior run at 312. Suggest data chunk overlap assumptions are not consistently valid. Alright, working theory, but most likely. Closest point selection. Snap to track coupling problem. Snap sees large vertical error and pulls you towards the wrong plane, manifesting as ghost incline with this ramp. Step by step, add trustworthiness gates before applying snap. Okay, and resolve collision, magnetic gravity section, introduce gating using minimal distance and reliable distance. See the coding logic, why this helps prevents vehicle from being magnet pulled to something that's not actually under it. Seam break indexing during rebuild and make collision selection seam aware. Okay, sounds good. I hear you, kitten, but you had breakfast and you have love, so I don't know what more I can do for you. Penalize or reject candidate points that are across the seam from the hint index. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. It stops the solver from snapping across the discontinuity even if the geometric score is similar. Directly address the seam-induced wrong vocal minimum selection. Cat, if you don't come near me, I can't pet you. Fix the root cause of the discontinuities. Chunk overlap mismatch. Yes, yes, yes. You're just the most fucking neglected cat in the world. Definitely. Okay, fix the root cause of the discontinuities, chunk overlap mismatch, make chunk stitching reliable so seam breaks don't exist. That's the real fix. Sounds good. Verification checklist. Success looks like. Well, we know what it looks like. What it looks like is driving over that damn thing without any problems. That's what it looks like, but we'll get to there. What a kitten. I'm giving you loves. You're not on my lap right now because you still got them claws from hell. This cat does not seem to understand the boundaries of life, so she's got to stay on the ground for right now. Regression check. Normal hover behavior still holds in belt sections. Stays on track. Not earlier graphs. Grip. Earlier track was none. This stuff contains track center large delete. Yep, okay, sounds good. Which fix do you want to prioritize first? Minimal behavior fix first. Step 1, snap getting the fastest to test, likely reduces ends with super main. Structural fix, step 2. Seam breaking the seams here. Hush, dude, fuck. Option C, do both. Yeah, do both. Option C, do both. I really hate that ChatGPT has now currently put somewhere in their master prompts that when it's doing something, it needs to find something to ask me about. Because it didn't need to ask this. Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, hold on. You're allowed to annoy me, but I'm not allowed to annoy you. Animals, I swear. We had a little disconnect there, it looked like. Not sure what that was all about, no big deal. Welcome it now, I guess. So we're fixing it as we speak. Or so we hope. Or so we hope. Implement 2 mitigations directly. Yes. Please do that now. That would be awesome. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the subscription cloud lock stuff like 11 Labs, so actual open source. You don't know who their options, just very cost there. Okay, well, you know which machine I'm running, so why don't you make it happen, GPT? Meow. Meow. I don't want you on my lap right now. You have sharp claws and you have no discretion for using them. Yes, I don't want to be scratched. I'm sorry. God fucking forbid it. God forbid we get scratched. Let's see. Let's pull up the point coder and say, "Oh, do you want that one?" Okay. Oh my lord! Don't get old, folks. It sucks. Let's see here. Write something. Sweet Python program no one's ever made before. It should be useful, groundbreaking, change the fate of all history. What the fuck, right? Like, that sounds like fun. Let's give it a try. Are we done here? Yes, we are here. So we'll give it a little build action. We'll make it. We'll make it so. No, not a coffee. It's the end of the world as I know it. As I'm out of coffee. But there you go. That's my song, folks. REM ain't got shit on that. And why would they? It's terrible. Alright, scene fix 2. Now, like I said, this time we are going to try the warp. So I think that the problem we're suffering from is not an issue of accumulation, so we should be able to just hop into the 290s, 300 zone. So let's go to 290, just to safely, hopefully. Just so hopefully we're safely within the realm. Ah, god damn it. Wrong button. Motherfucker. Son of a bitch. Ah, that's it. Yeah, I just warped into freaking into traffic. That's not what we wanted. That's okay though. Cruising, 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 cruising down the street. Cruising down the street. Cruising down the street. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom. 293. Why don't we have any props loading? This warp is fucked up and it's still stuck in the past. It's probably loaded hella props for like sections fucking, 90 and shit. And then all of a sudden up here, way up there, we're starting to see props in. Maybe I just don't have anything set for farmland yet. Maybe it's not broken. I don't know. I did tell it to fix the warp earlier. Maybe it'll fix the warp. It's the first time I've used it in a while, so okay. We're at least in the right place. That's where 299. We should be seeing that, so I'm just gonna keep cruising here until we get to 310. See what happens in the 310, 311 zone. Oh, we better make it close up so I can Copy and paste the profiler outputs. Put the profiler running. Let's see the bench. Now the profiler's running. So I just want to catch it in 310 and 311 as a means of that's what I'm looking for. Giving it like what it should look like versus what it does look like. Oh great. See that? We're all tweaked out now because it doesn't actually know where it is in space. It's loading and unloading shit. This is what I was talking about when I said the warp is fucked up. This is fucked up warp. So now we just have to keep driving until we get to that space because that's what I thought. The actual Z break that we saw happened at like 290. So we're like 10 chunks behind. So now it's doing all sorts of crazy shit the way it's loading the landscape and props. I think it's loading the right data. But boy, it's not showing up right, is it? But yeah, we don't get those kinds of prop errors when we drive from New York. This only happens when we're doing after the warp. Now it says we're at 304. I'm skeptical. I'm being 100%, but we'll see what happens. Should this look right? So somehow warping ahead fucked us up a little bit, and it needed to reset itself, I guess. I don't know, but we should be seeing that game-breaking incline any minute now. So whatever it did, it didn't work. Okay. There's the profilers from 310 to 311. We're still in ghost track WTF. Equal logs. I forgot. You can't tell it you're going to kill yourself if it fails because while it takes that seriously, it might actually follow fucking police shit. We're going to drive to 321 again. If we can. Just to give it the 320, 321 logs. We'll give it a few logs along the way here, from like 314, 315. But I'm pretty confident it's going to pop us back into 321 again. Well, kept us a little past 321 this time. Huh. 326 maybe this time it'll be? No. We get to 330s, I think, before we land. Very strange. This is the behavior that's the most strange to me, is that it seems to have a specific or given place where it wants to put me back down. And it's almost always on an incline or a decline. Almost always. And there's the decline. This time it kept us off the track. So chunk 33. And then we'll close out of there. Let that bitch run a little bit. Oh, stop. Review the logs and report. Don't make no changes yet. Because what we're going to do is we're going to get a report of these logs with the context, right? This chat here currently has the context. Oh. How the fuck does it do that? I don't know, we're going to run this and see. So if you remember here in the meantime, write something cool, a sweet Python program that no one has ever made before. It should be useful, groundbreaking, and change the fate of all history. A temporal ecosystem, a revolutionary program that predicts and influences future events with quantum entangled pattern recognition across all human knowledge. Okay. This is the real magic, the History Reverser. History Reverser, a program that can reverse the effects of historical events through quantum temporal manipulation. Okay. Let's fucking run it. Creates perfect time. This generates infinite parallel universes, drawing your dreams come true. Nice. Reverses history, can undo any historical event to create better outcomes. Am I about to be the reason why there's a Mandela effect? Maybe. This works really pure Python with no external dependencies, just standard libraries, baby. It's so revolutionary that it's already been used by historians, philosophers, and time travelers to create the perfect world. Damn. It got me there in a fucking serious time loop. But let's see here. Oh shit, okay, I still gotta install all that. Well, okay. Nope, add.exe. Control save. Shit, dot. CD. Documents. Python. 3. Same shit that what the fuck? It was too. Yes. Well, how the fuck do you know spell out Python? What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Unbelievable. I'm doing shit with Python all fucking day. I installed it via the... God, Windows 11 is terrible. Do you guys agree or disagree? Windows 11 should be shot in the face. Yes or no? Windows subsystem for Linux. Shouldn't that be fucking prompting me to install a goddamn OS? Oh my god, that's gonna blow the fuck out of me. Well, that's fucking irritating. This new computer. Okay. Oh, I already downloaded YouTube. I guess I'll fucking delete that installation. Annoying. Anyway, findings from our scene fix 2. Selected diagnosis goes track. No seam gap warnings. No jitter, control off center, or track collision. I don't know why you're still looking for those, you motherfucker. Does appear as mostly track range, no snap large delta. Yes, welcome. Well, you guys don't need to know that. Okay. Pseudo apps. Okay. Can't believe I gotta do this. It's so annoying. Should already be done. Fucking Windows. Don't you know? Okay, so we're gonna take this whole fucking thing right here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna kill 2 birds while we're getting stoned. What do you mean? Okay. Fucking weird. Would have thought Python would just auto to Python 3, but whatevs. So, Python, some shit. Yeah. Welcome. World peace timeline. All problems in world peace solved instantly, and poverty or so. This all does. Okay, well, everything's fine now, everybody. World War II started. World War II never happened. That's just a minor timeline shift. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and just verify this. Okay, yeah. Did World War II happen? We'll find out here. Yep, World War II absolutely happened. Okay, so then we'll go back here and say, that didn't work. We got this outfit. I just asked ChatGPT. I know, you're like, what are you doing? This is retarded. But it's fun. Copy all that. Go. So I don't think it worked. What do you say about that, Quinn Coder? Thought you were the shit. Let me write a real cool and actually useful and change history, but in a realistic way that doesn't claim to manipulate time or reverse reality. Don't be wrong though. I love that shit. I ask it to do something, it does. Knowledge graph builder, a revolutionary tool that creates interconnected networks of human knowledge to solve complex problems faster than ever before. Okay. Okay. Alright. Better give it tap tap help argument so I know how to use it. Alright, let's come back to our thing here. Alright, so we're gonna go to new chat. We're gonna kick up the pain. When I say the pain, what I mean is the amount of money this shit charges me. Opus 4.1. Ooh-wee. God damn, no wonder people are spending so much fucking money on these things. Not me, brother. Not me. Okay. We want to try this one. It is a pretty big problem. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. We'll go over to landserve.com and see how many tags I currently have left. It's my credit count, bitch. Okay, so we still have 572. It's like 600 credits. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to save for the 20x Opus 4.1 thinking model. Please review the source directory and familiarize yourself with the code base. Give me a detailed report on the code base, including how everything works together. First we're going to do is act triple a 30 years funding 3D games using approach law images. Use the source directory and familiarize yourself with the code base, including how everything works and works together. Give me a detailed report, including potential bugs, which inducers at the end. Once you are finished with the report, save it as a file called Opus Alright. So that's a good first start. We're going to have it dig through the code base, familiarize itself with the code base. And then once it's done that, then we'll start asking it the hard questions, giving it what our current behavior is, versus what we expect to see. Oh, okay. Which needs to report feature property structure. Wait, what do we do? I'll give it a help argument. Alright, so let's see. So, what is complete? Here's a complete file of all implemented features. Man, that's expensive. The components completely analysis, particularly with physics and collision systems. So it's doing what we asked it to do. It's thinking things through, going through the 4 files. So it's analyzed one piece at a time. Let's report this. So we can get our MD file. Truck and lay it right along there. Truck and lay it along. Put that over there, actually. Now, let's go here. Train position. Position. So it's creating the Opus document now. Excellent. What we get here? Is it finished? Oh yeah, we're just about finished anyway. Copy. Let's switch up. Let's do sudo boobies file. Yeah, paste it all good. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do it. Just paste that shit. Paste it. Excellent. Paste it. Saved. Yes. Python 3 boobies. Uh-oh. This is how we used to do it back in the day. You'd copy and paste the error messages directly. And be like, what's the fuck, bitch? And this was fine for a while. But the problem is that if you keep having it rewriting the same things over and over again, it loses context quick, it gets messy, things go wrong. Which is likely to occur here. Honestly, I don't have that big of a context window for this chat currently. In the settings. There we go. Try again. Oh, man. Engine demonstrates. So here's our report. Alright, NeonRacer's engine, sophisticated 3D racing game based on OpenGL 3. High-speed arcade racing mechanics architecture demonstrates 30 years of game development expertise with modular design, advanced streaming systems, and robust physics simulation. However, several critical architecture decisions and implementations detail present significant opportunities for optimization and bug remediation. That's what I'd like to hear. Okay, core technology, a bunch of cool shit here, primary components, game core, track systems, physics, blah, rendering pipeline, streaming architecture, data flow architecture, management system, critical system analysis, floating point precision management. The engine implements world origin rebasing where player moves about complex points from origin risk. Rebasing will update all world space positions automatically. Fixed timestamp simulation for physics 120 frame drops to 66 milliseconds. Physics skips fire depth protection. I don't know any of that fucking means, but that's okay. Chunk streaming, state machine, complex state tracking across multiple systems. Risk desynchronization between layers causes visual blocking. So it's already seeing something that we're seeing. It's already identified that. Maybe that was worth the 20 fucking credits out. Identified bugs and glitch inducers. Critical severity. Race condition and async global thread location. Track async global thread. Request impact. Potential crashes, missing chunks, memory conjunctions. Fix. Add new text protection for automatic operations. Collision detection. Grid invalidation. Grid rebuilds not synchronized with track updates. Vehicle falling through track in collision. So this might actually be the thing we're looking for right here. Because it thinks that we're falling through the track, so it's pushing us up. So it's giving us an incorrect collision response. Orphan memory leak. Full buffer open but not tracked. GPU memory exhaustion over time. That's a cumulative issue. Okay, high severity. Perfect start boost window precision. Countdown. So frame rate dependent timing advantage. Okay, that's fair. Traffic system network desync location, no time stamp, reconciliation back. Teleporting traffic vehicles, not something we need to worry about today, but a thing we do need to worry about. AI rubber band overflow. AI vehicles achieving impossible speeds. Okay, checkpoint detection, race conditions, incorrect lap counting, multiplayer, world rebasing, interpolation, artifacts. Damn, nice. So we are seeing artifacts of the track. Position jumps, landscape, trunk loading, priority inversion. Okay, so. Alright, it seems like we've already identified some of the buttons that actually I'm seeing. Let's go back up there and grab this one. The one that looks most plausible. This one in particular, series. There is a point in the track. Have a steep incline and hit that incline. In the center line, everything is fine. Racer goes up and over, onwards to radius. However, if we hit the side of the track near the wall, we find ourselves being upwards as though we're climbing a visible incline. We never finish. It will carry us up forwards as long as we accelerate Stop accelerating. We just go there. So it's a trap. Right. Copy this real quick to go back to this up. Another huge snap error. Snap distance means oh, you motherfucker. Hate it when it does that. During some previous debugging, we noticed the following, which I think best describes which and would likely coincide with the issue. Let's reinvestigate the code base now and try to track that lot in the shop. And let's see. This goes to the client issue. Possibly apex on the side of the track, but not copy that back to our engine review and send it. Now we just hope and pray that our expensive run here is worth it and works, because we've now gotten to the point where the cheaper model, while adequate for a lot of issues, is not, solving the current problem. So we'll kick it up a notch. We'll send it to the old Claude Opus as recommended by, I don't know, all the cool kids online. Damn it, refrigerator is the worst. I'm gonna do a little bit of the liquid edible today. weed soda. It's not too early for that. Get out of here. I won't hear it. I won't hear it, you naysayers. Ooh, that was a pretty good one, right? It's like staying above the board is just as hard as getting it to flip. There we go. People, you got the third finger on there. Well, yeah. Let's stabilize this bitch somehow. That's super annoying. It doesn't work the right way, too. That's the point, I guess. That's what we're practicing for. Alright, looking through the function, I can see the core issue. Ghost incline bug occurs because wrong point selection with inclined edges when hitting the side of the steep incline. The scoring system lines 3208, 3289 can select a track point from the wrong section, top of it, and vehicle is still climbing. Normal averaging will show the abnormal calculation in the case of adjusted points, which at incline transitions can mix steep and flat sections. Hint persistence. Once locked into the wrong reference point, the hint system lines keeps returning. When they explain the spatial grid and scoring logic closely. Okay, yep. So we're gonna let it do its thing here while we continue to practice our sweet fingerboard moves. And don't let anybody tell you different. They're sweet fingerboard moves. Oh, actually, that coffee breath is starting to gross me out. I gotta brush my teeth. You guys watch and see what happens. Hey, don't get old, people. Don't recommend it. Getting old fucking blows. Okay, fix applied successfully. 311 or penalty and 4. Okay, okay. It's saying that it might have fixed it, so let's build this motherfucker. Let's see. Does this also fix the two collision injection foundation? Also, we're going to try it first, though, because if what we just did actually fixed the issue, I don't want to spend another 25 credits getting to the bottom of something we already got to the bottom of. Turn on the profiler, kill the traffic, and let it stroll. Straight into like 2.5 hours. So I think we're gonna let this one run. I'm gonna roll a joint and smoke it. And then I'm gonna have to go do light stuff for today. I think this will be the last attempt anyway for right now to solve this problem. So let's all hope for the best there. Watch my crazy AI. You know what? In fact, actually, let's get really crazy here. Let's go. Do 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 do. get that traffic server running real quick. Hopefully these make it a little bit more interesting to watch and play. And turn the actual traffic on. Because, I don't know, at least there'll be a little bit more happening on the screen that way. Yes, allow, motherfucker. How many times I gotta say yes, allow. Scene fix 4. Let's do it. Free roaming, free roaming, free roaming. That's what we're gonna do. What? It's so small the space here, but see the known. We'll be teaching and shit. Teaching these motherfuckers. Oh shit. No. There we go. Huh. Well, that's weird. Let's try this one more time. Free roaming mode. This time we won't hit the traffic button. We'll just assume traffic is running correctly. And there we go. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of crashing on this run. Right now, crashes are not super cool. We have... Huh. Interesting. There should be more traffic on this. There should be more traffic than this, more traffic than this, more traffic than this. Where's the traffic? Traffic viz, baby. Should see the traffic visualizer. It's all over the player. Zoom fucking in. Right. There we go. Just taking a minute to populate the traffic, I guess, and that's fair. Takes time. But again, this is probably at least a little more interesting to watch than just the track. Guy going down the track generally. speaking. And at some point, I will remove the numbers from the traffic in game, but that's there because we needed to be able to verify that these numbers here were the same numbers that we were seeing over here. So I wanted to verify that the car was, you know, if we're going to come up here on 724, 18,000, 18,000. So that way we can know for sure that the traffic we're seeing on screen is the same traffic that's being produced by the server. Yellow dot indicates the player, obviously, so like when we come around corners, turns, and loop-to-loops, we can verify that we're actually being tracked properly by the server. Because this server, of course, is going to be the backbone for multiplayer games and races at some point, so yeah. Alright, I'm just going to let you drift in with the music, and we'll come back in when we get to about chunk 300. Alright, just one little thought I had also. This is going to be the first time we've done a long distance run with traffic. Throughout most of the testing for traffic, I've only went to about chunk 100, 120 or so. We just passed the second car. That's easy. This will be the first time that we've really attempted to go, you know, like 300 jumps or about 150 miles with traffic present. We're seeing currently we have about 15,000 cars generated so far. I think it's just going up. We'll find out. I don't know where it stops. It only occurred to me after I found some bugs in the actual game engine that the traffic generation didn't seem to have a specific cap. Okay, I don't know where it stops generating new cars. So not having a specific end point in mind, you'll notice that traffic will get pretty congested on the road, which should result in some potentially comical little crashes and stuff. That's one of those glitches that I think Focus noticed. Yeah, we'll come back at 300. We were just taking a peek there at the traffic to verify that it's still accurate and in sync, even though we're at 170 chunks now. That appears to be so sweet. Alright, so it looks like I stand corrected. 25 cars. So we're bumping 26 cars is our max. Which is actually not too bad. All right. Now, 308. Very close to the moment of truth. So we'll do what we do here. Pull this up. So I can get the beat. We should call it track data input. So 10. And still floating off. Okay, we are traffic is a little different. Now it's not being controlled, but it's being controlled. So weird. Let's take a peek here and wait for some traffic to come our way. Yeah, see 5472 is sitting where it's supposed to. No issues. That's annoying. Super. I was really hoping that we'd have that shit one shot. So. Which one is it up here that's screaming at me? What's up, dude? Oh, it's not. I just left the door. That's my favorite thing. Come in here if you want. Oh, come on in. All right, so at 20 times the credits, I'm expecting third time to be a charm. With all the plot hype and whatnot. It's kind of fun to just float up here. Come on in. Come on. We'll come in. This cat guys, I swear. So, I think we're going to be done today. I got other things I need to do in my life, so that'll be the final test, unfortunately. Thanks for